Humble street girl saves a billionaire's son, and what happens next is unthinkable. In the heart of a city that sparkled with gold but whispered secrets of danger, Mia darted through the bustling streets. The aroma of sizzling street food mixed with the honks of luxury cars zooming by. Her worn sneakers slapped against the cracked pavement as she navigated piles of rich, laced with shadows, searching for her next meal. She didn't have much, a threadbare hoodie and a fiery spirit that roared like a lion. Yet today, destiny had something shocking in store for her. Across the street, Alex stood frozen. The heir to a billionaire's empire, he wore designer clothes that screamed privilege, standing amidst a sea of onlookers who gaped, murmuring in hushed tones, their faces painted with curiosity and envy. Broad shoulders, tousled hair, and a troubled expression. He looked like someone caught in a storm of his own life. But it was no ordinary day. Out of nowhere, a motorcycle screeched around the corner, and chaos erupted. The rider lost control, hurtling down the street with a terrifying speed. The crowd panicked, scattering like leaves in a gust of wind. Mia glanced up, her heart leaping into her throat. In that moment, everything slowed. Without thinking, she launched herself forward. She reached Alex just as he stood rooted, eyes widening with shock. "Move," she shouted, grabbing his arm. With a surge of adrenaline, she yanked him out of the way, and the motorcycle whizzed past, barely inches from them. The world exploded with gasps and screams. When the dust cleared, Mia and Alex collapsed on the ground, panting. Their eyes locked, and something electric passed between them. In that split second, he saw not just a street girl, but a warrior. Mia felt her cheeks flush as she processed the gravity of the moment. "What were you thinking?" she breathed, still stunned. Before Alex could answer, an intimidating figure pushed through the crowd, his father, a titan of industry, with cold eyes and a fierce reputation. "Alex, what were you doing?" He snatched his son's shoulder, glaring at Mia as if she were a mere insect beneath his polished shoe. "This is no place for you," he boomed, dismissing her with a flick of his wrist. As the crowd eventually faded, Alex stared at Mia, confusion swirling within him. "Why did you help me?" Her heart raced. He was like a bright star she could never reach. "Maybe I thought you needed saving," she muttered, half smiling, half sarcastic. But inside a warmth began to bloom, unexpected and terrifying. This strange connection could cost them both. As days passed, they glimpsed each other under the facade of their lives, a whirlwind of dizzying wealth and gritty survival. But Mia could feel the shadows form. Whispers of Alex's father grew louder, and she knew the stakes were rising. Just when she thought they could navigate their growing bond, a shocking secret bubbled to the surface, twisting the web connecting their lives into knots. It reshaped the very foundation of their connection, threatening to tear them apart. As unease settled over her like a thick fog, Mia paused, staring into the distance. What lay ahead? Could their bond withstand the powerful currents of wealth, secrets, and familial loyalty? Hey, before we continue with this incredible story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Just take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content coming up. And since you're here, smash that like button because it really helps me with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who is part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. Mia stood there, heart pounding, the weight of the moment pressing down on her. The crowd around them had thinned, but tension still hung thick in the air. She could see the world fall away behind her, leaving just her and Alex. "What were you thinking?" he asked, searching her eyes as if she held all the answers. "Just wanted to keep you alive," she replied, trying to brush it off, but her voice cracked. He was looking at her like she was magic, and that ignited a spark she hadn't felt before. Then the ground trembled beneath them, a low rumble growing louder. Alex glanced over her shoulder, eyes wide. She turned, her heart racing again. A convoy of black SUVs rolled to a stop, engines growling. She felt a gut instinct. A bad omen. "Alex," she started. But before she could finish, the doors flung open. Men in dark suits spilled out, faces stone cold, eyes scanning. Panic clawed at Mia's chest. They moved like wolves in a pack, all focus on one target. "Alex, get behind me," he urged, stepping in front of her protectively. But Mia didn't budge. She felt a fire ignite within her. "Who are they?" she asked, heart thumping louder than the engines. He didn't answer right away. A tall man with icy eyes approached, his jaw set hard. "You are in danger, Alex," he said, voice low and dangerous. "We need to get you out of here." "From what?" Alex shot back, his voice steady but laced with confusion. As if on cue, a shout rang out from the crowd. Tears streaming down her cheeks, pointed toward the street. "There!" Mia turned, eyes widening as chaos around control. They were coming toward Alex, straight for him, for them. Before she could react, there was a deafening explosion. The ground shook as the nearest SUV erupted in flames. Shrapnel flew and screams filled the air. Alex grabbed her, pulling her into a sheltering embrace. The world blurred into a whirl of smoke and chaos, but all she felt was his heartbeat against her cheek. "No," Alex shouted, his grip tightening. "We need to run." They bolted together, dodging debris, weaving through the panicking crowd. But then Mia caught sight of the woman again, still standing there, frozen, and behind her, another shock. A familiar face emerged from the shadows, one she could never forget. "Mia, you have to listen." It was her mother, eyes wide with fear. "Mom?" The word was a whisper caught in her throat. The space around her collapsed due to confusion. Why was she here? The reunion felt like a lightning bolt, shocking her to stillness. "You don't understand, Mia. They're coming for you. It's worse than I thought. You have to get away from him." Mia felt dizzy, like the ground shifted under her feet. "Mom, what are you talking about?" But before her mother could answer, the man in the suit lunged forward, blocking them. "Move, you can't be here." Suddenly, everything crashed in a whirlwind of realization. The connection she felt with Alex, the danger stirring around them, it all clicked in. A dizzying swirl. What if this was more than a chance meeting? What if her mother knew something dark and dangerous? Something that tied them together in ways she couldn't yet comprehend. As the screams and chaos erupted around her, Mia's heart raced. Was Alex truly the one she needed to save? Or was he the one bringing the danger? Amid the smoke and confusion, a single thought echoed in her mind. What secrets lay beneath the surface of their lives, waiting to bubble up and shatter everything she thought she knew? Mia felt the world spin around her. Her mother's face was a whirlwind of fear. "Mom, why are you here?" The question slipped out, panic rising like bile in her throat. She tried to focus on the woman who had once been her rock, now struggling in a world that seemed ready to swallow them whole. "Listen, you need to stay away from him." Her mom's voice was edged with urgency, like a scream muffled in her chest. But before Mia could process the words, the man in the suit pushed closer, anger radiating from him like heat from burning coals. "Get away from her." Alex's voice ripped through the chaos, firm yet desperate, but Mia barely heard him. Her mother's words echoed like bells clanging in her brain. "Mom, what's happening?" She was losing her grip. The tension made it hard to breathe. Another explosion, this time not far. The ground shook again, louder than before. She had to move, but all she could do was stare as the reality blurred. The black SUVs seemed to close in, shadows stretching like claws, reaching for them. Men in suits moved swiftly, organizing chaos around them. Mia felt a lump in her throat. What was she caught in? What web had been spun around this moment of bravery? Then, the unexpected. The primal roar of a motorcycle sliced through the noise, racing toward them. Mia's heart screamed louder than anything else. Just as she thought they'd run, a figure zipped past and everything turned electric. "Look out!" someone screamed, voices merging into panic. Mia instinctively ducked. The blast hit. A shockwave propelled them backward, slamming her against Alex, and everything melted into chaos. Mia gasped, catching sight of her mother, who was thrown to the side, fear etching her features. "Mom!" The scream tore from her throat, but it was drowned out by another round of violence. Smoke enveloped them, and the scent of burning rubber filled her lungs. "Mia, we have to go." Alex tugged at her, eyes wide, but before they could move, a piercing scream sliced through the haze and Mia froze. A man, broken and bleeding, struggled through the wreckage, his face hauntingly familiar. "Dad?" Her voice trembled as the pieces fell into place, sharp and painful. The world shattered, revealing hidden truths. Her father, missing for years, was here. It couldn't be. It just couldn't. "Mia." He looked right through her, tangled in pain. "Get away from him." Confusion rolled like thunder inside her. The warmth with Alex was lost in the cold shadow of her family's secrets. Her heart raced. A horrifying realization threaded through her veins. "Is he the reason you left?" The words tasted bitter, raw. The chaos felt distant as she stared at the man she'd thought was gone forever. Every revelation crashed over her like waves. "Mia, listen, I was—" But she didn't want to hear explanations. She felt betrayal clawing at her guts. Alex's grip tightened on her wrist. "Stay back," he shouted, facing the man like he was. A storm brewing. Mia stepped back. She couldn't think. She was pulled in two directions. Flashes of memories flickered. The warmth of her mother, the love she thought she lost, and the connection with Alex that felt like falling into a dream just before waking. "Mom, what is happening?" she gasped. But her mother was distant, eyes darting around, fear mingled with regret. "If you don't get away from him now," her mother's voice lowered, trembling, "you're in deeper than you know." Mia's heart was a drumbeat of dread. The world roiled around her, a tempest of confusion and betrayal. Everything she thought she knew was crumbling, leaving only questions. Then, like a final blow, Alex's father stepped forward, cold, gaze slicing through the chaos. "Enough of this," he declared, holding power in every word. Mia's heart raced. What was coming? What other secrets were waiting to unravel? And as everything spiraled out of control, Mia could only think what other truths were hiding in the dark, just waiting to drown her whole world. The tension thickened like smoke, filling the air, as Alex's father stepped closer, cold eyes assessing the chaos around them. "Enough of this," he barked. The crowd fell silent, all breath caught, hanging on the edge of disbelief. Mia felt every heartbeat pulse through her chest. Then, as if the universe decided to shift all at once, everything erupted. From the distance, a massive sound thundered, reverberating against the concrete like a beast waking from a slumber. People screamed and scattered as something, black and fast, rocketed down the street toward them. It was another motorcycle, roaring defiantly. But this one wasn't out of control. Mia's heart stopped as the bike swerved dangerously, tires screeching against asphalt. "Get away," someone cried. An explosion of sound, then a shockwave, sent everyone tumbling backward. She barely registered Alex pulling her tighter, shielding her from the debris swirling around them. The smoke clouded everything, even her thoughts. "Mia!" Alex yelled, but she could hardly hear him over the chaos, her vision blurring. As if, in a slow-motion dream, she saw her mother rush into the fray. But then a figure appeared, a woman wearing a leather jacket. Mia blinked, squinting through the haze. Something flickered in the woman's gaze, and she felt a strange sense of recognition. No way. The woman removed her helmet, revealing a mane of dark hair, wild and free, just like Mia's. The moment their eyes locked, a chill ran down Mia's spine. This woman was staring back with a knowing look, something intimate and profoundly deep. "Mia," she shouted, voice rising above the din. "It's me, you have to trust me." Mia stumbled back, her heart racing. "Who are you?" But the woman stepped forward, undeterred, Urgency painted across her face. Your sister. Time froze. The world fell away, leaving only that one shattering truth resonating in her mind. Sister? She felt like she'd been dropped into a void. The memories of a missing family, lost connections, all flooded back like a tide she couldn't escape. No, that can't be right. Yes, Mia, listen. You need to get away from him. Her words were frantic, a warning etched in every syllable. But before Mia could process how her life had just twisted, Alex's father stepped closer, imposing and fierce. I will not have this charade. You are not welcome here. Chaos erupted anew as the crowd scrambled, eyes wide with fear. The woman, the sister, looked poised, determined. You don't understand. They're coming for you both. Mia's mind spun. She wanted to believe, but her world felt like it was unraveling. Alex held her tighter, but fear cracked the warmth of his embrace. Mia, listen, he urged, the desperation breaking through. But her eyes were locked on the woman in leather, adrenaline pumping through her veins. In the midst of incredibly powerful figures and family secrets coming to light, echoes of familiar laughter haunted her every thought. How could I have a sister? Then the ground shook again, a low thud resonating beneath their feet like warning bells ringing in her heart. Enough, boomed Alex's father, but the darkness around him thickened, like shadows closing in for a kill. With a quick movement, the woman pulled something from her jacket, a small, metallic object gleaming in the chaos. You have to trust me, she cried again, urgency spilling from her lips. Just then, the roar of motorcycles surged again, circling like predators eyeing their prey, and Mia's breath caught. Where was safe? Could she believe a stranger, claiming to be family amidst all these lies? Time felt suspended, and the air thickened with doubt. Questions spun wildly in her mind. Who could she trust? Were they all pawns in a game much crueler than she could understand? As the truths twisted like a web around her, Mia knew one thing. The fight was far from over. The ground shook again, the tremors cutting through the air like a knife. Mia's heart raced. Her sister's accusation echoed in her ears, making her head spin. You've got to trust me. Those words hung heavily. But Alex held her wrist like he was afraid to let go. Mia, we need to move. His voice sounded desperate and filled with urgency. Mia turned, torn between him and the stranger claiming to be her sister. Chaos spun around them like a storm. People shouting, panicking. Black SUVs jostled to a halt, the oppressive energy thickening the air. One look at Alex told her he felt it too, the danger looming over them. But then everything changed. The woman in leather stepped forward, her eyes fierce. Mia, you're not safe, not with him. She pointed at Alex and the world around. Em fell silent. What do you mean? Mia choked out, confusion and anger flashing through her. He saved my life. Did he? Her sister's voice bit, slicing through Mia's heart. Did he really? Or is he part of this mess? Before Mia could respond, another motorcycle roared toward them, tires screeching. It came to an abrupt stop right in front of them, kicking up debris. The rider hopped off, and she froze again. It was her father. Dad? A whisper slipped from her lips. He looked rough, frantic. Why are you here? I'm here to get you away from the danger, from him. His voice thundered, but she couldn't grasp it, couldn't make sense of the turmoil. Danger? You mean Alex? A million thoughts raced through her mind, competing like wild horses. Your mother warned me. This is bigger than you can imagine. Tears tinged his voice. He grabbed her shoulders, eyes pleading. You need to listen. Just then, there was a crack, louder than thunder. A blinding flash lit up the darkening sky above them. Mia squinted, shielding her eyes, and then it hit. A nearby building erupted in flames. Glass shattered, raining down like deadly confetti. The shock wave threw her backward, crashing into Alex. He caught her, but the world spun, Screams filled the air. People scattered in all directions, tripping over one another in blind panic. "Get down!" Alex shouted, pushing her behind him as they ducked. Heartbeats pounding wildly. Mia clung to him desperately. "We need to get out of here." Suddenly she caught a glimpse of the chaos. Her father, her sister, swept away in the rage of the crowd. "No!" She struggled to break free from Alex's grip. "Mia, don't!" he pleaded, but it was too late. She bolted toward the wreckage, desperation surging within her. "Mom, Dad, wait!" But then she saw it. A familiar figure emerging from the smoke, face twisted in anger. It was her mother's longtime friend, the man who had always been a shadow in her life, the one who had looked after her. "Get back!" he yelled, pushing through the crowd. "They're after everyone. You don't understand, Mia." Heart racing, Mia felt the ground shift again. A feeling of dread settled deep in her gut. "After everyone? What do you know?" He stepped closer, words rushing out of him. "It's not just Alex. There's a reason your parents left you, a reason you were hidden." Just like that, the truth hung heavy over Mia. A shroud of disbelief cloaked her. "Hidden? What do you mean? You're lying." "No, I'm not." His voice broke as he took a step closer. "You are intertwined in a world darker than you know, and it's ready to swallow you whole." The gravity of revelation knocked the wind from her lungs. The feeling of Alex's hand slipped away, the world tunneling down to a single point, her reality. And then, as if scripted like a cruel twist of fate, another motorcycle roared back into view, blazing with power and purpose. A figure emerged, helmeted and daunting. As they lifted their helmet, Mia's heart dropped. "Emily?" A voice broke like glass, unraveling everything she thought was true. Before she could process who stood there, before she could question how a third sister could exist, more questions spiraled through her mind. Mia's heart lost its rhythm. What had she walked into? And how deep did this twisted family drama run? "Mia?" The name fell from her father's lips, an anguished whisper that seemed to break through the cacophony around them. Did he really just say, "That, Emily?" The woman in the leather jacket looked stunned. "You're here!" Mia didn't know who to look at first. The manic energy in the air made her thoughts whirl. "What is happening?" she managed to gasp out. Every heartbeat felt like thunder pounding in her ears. Then the ground shook again. Smoke filled her lungs, stinging and suffocating. But her father stepped closer, urgency radiating from his every pore. "Mia, you need to understand. This is bigger than you can grasp." His voice was fierce, but tinged with desperation. The sister, Emily, stepped in front of their father. "Get away from him," she barked, her eyes flashing, protective and wild. "He's not who you think he is." Mia's heart sank. Was there still doubt? Shadows flickered across their faces, Miss screams echoed. A wave of emotion crashed in her chest. Fear and anger collided in a messy storm. "What do you mean, he's my father?" Alex stood nearby, trying to weave his way through the chaos. "Mia, don't listen. Trust me." "What is wrong with you? He's trying to help." But then another explosion echoed, this one closer. The world tipped again. Fear clawed at her throat as sharp shards of glass rained down. Then she turned and saw him, the man in the suit. "Not now," he shouted, cutting through the chaos with authority. Everything spiraled. The crowd surged. Panic rippled like electricity. Mia felt dizzy, like she was part of a whirlwind. The mystery of her other sister flashed through her mind, but right now, survival was the only thing that mattered. And then it happened. Out of the smoke, a figure stumbled forward, someone Mia never expected to see again. "Mia!" Her eyes widened. "No, it can't be." She blinked, hoping to clear the vision, but it didn't change. A familiar face stared back. Her long-lost brother, Tyler, bloodied and bruised, but unmistakable. "Mia, we have to go. They're after you." His voice cracked with urgency. Every logical thought dissolved. "Ty, how?" She staggered back, feeling like the ground ripped under her feet. "Listen, We don't have time to explain. Tyler sounded frantic. The truth buried deep is dangerous.
They'll use you against us. What truth? The words burned in her throat, disbelief slamming into her gut. Suddenly, Emily intersected, eyes flaring with tension. What do you know about our family? What do you think you're doing? Tyler shot a glare at her, desperation spilling out. I'm trying to save her. You have no idea what they want. Mia's heart raced, the revelation pulling tighter and tighter. What do you mean? Who wants me? Before anyone could answer, the air shifted again. Alex stepped in, refusing to break the eye contact. They're not just after your family. They want you, Mia. You're the key. Her chest tightened. His words sank in like lead. The key? Yes, Tyler shouted. They need you to unlock something dangerous. What? What is it? But before any explanation could unfold, a deafening roar filled the air. She looked up just in time to see a helicopter hovering, its spotlight cutting through the smoke. Fear surged through her. The finality of it all gripped her like a vice. Run, someone shouted, but time froze. Mia, her mother's frantic voice cut through the madness. Get away from your father. None of them are safe. Every instinct screamed at her to move, but chaos clung to her feet like mud. The world collapsed into a single point of understanding. Everything she thought was real was crumbling. And beneath it all, one terrifying thought looped in. Her mind, what if she was the danger? What if she was the catalyst to all of it? As the spotlight swung around, illuminating them, Mia felt her pulse thunder in her ears. What kind of monster was she becoming tangled with? And when the world stopped again, it hit her like a slap. Everything was about to blow wide open. Mia's heart raced as she stood there, caught between the chaos and the heavy weight of revelation. Her father, her sister, Alex, each face held a truth she couldn't grasp, and panic clawed at her throat. The world around them erupted in chaos, but all she could hear was her pounding heartbeat. Then, just as she thought the storm couldn't get worse, images spun in her mind like a vicious cyclone. The helicopter's spotlight cut through the smoke, casting stark light on everything, on her family, on Alex, and the swirling crowd. She felt as if everyone was watching, judging. What role did she play in this mess? Get in the car, her father shouted, waving her toward the black SUV. But in the next second, she froze as a piercing scream shattered the air. A woman burst through the last remnants of the crowd, hands outstretched. Mia! It was a voice she'd never expected to hear, a voice that felt like a ghost from a past she barely remembered. Mia, the woman's eyes were wide, frantic. You have to. Trust me, Mia, don't. Tyler interjected, his voice sharp and urgent. But it was too late. A flash of recognition hit her like a freight train. You're my... No, the woman's voice broke. I'm your mother. Time stopped. Mia's breath hitched. Her mother had been gone for so long. She felt her heart drop. No, you left us. You chose to leave. Every word was laced with pain. I had to. They were coming for me, for all of you. It's all tangled in this. Her mother gestured wildly toward Alex, and Mia felt everything spin. The ground shook again, and the helicopter's thrumming grew louder. Everything felt like it was crashing, blurring, slipping from her grasp. What do? You mean? Who are they? I'll explain, but we don't have time. Her mother's urgency twisted the knife deeper. We have to leave. A loud crash interrupted her, sending shards of metal flying. The black SUV erupted into flames yards away. People screamed, and the air filled with panic. Run, Tyler yelled, grabbing Mia's arm. She felt Alex pulling her too, anchoring her like she was the last thing holding him to reality. But then there was movement. A man dressed in a black suit emerged from the chaos, gun drawn. The world around them shrunk down, time stretching painfully. Mia, you have to go, Alex shouted, eyes wide with desperation. But at the same moment, her mother stood. Firm, determination glinting in her eyes. Mia, her mother yelled, get down. That instant seemed to stretch for eternity. Then,
Just as her mother lunged toward her, the gun went off, a deafening crack that echoed into silence. Mia's scream erupted, raw and visceral, as the bullet struck her mother. Everything shattered. The world unfolded into chaos. "Mom!" Mia collapsed, her vision swirling. "No!" Tyler roared. "Stay back!" The crowd fell still. Shock painted their faces. Mia's heart was a drum of terror. "Mia, I can't lose you. I won't." Alex's voice was frantic as he pushed forward, but Mia felt like she was drowning in disbelief. Her mother fell, crumpling like a rag doll. "It's all connected," she gasped, blood pooling beneath her. "Mom!" The scream tore from Mia's throat, echoing into the smoke. But just as everything felt like it was collapsing in on her, the woman raised her eyes, surprising everyone with a fierce determination. "Mia, listen to me." As crushing pain wrapped around her heart, Mia's world spun wildly. "Why is this happening?" "Because you're part of something bigger than all of us," the woman said, clarity shining through the chaos as she struggled against the pain. "You're more than just a girl on the street. You have a power, something they want. They'll stop at nothing to get it." The words spilled out like knives, cutting through Mia's already tangled emotions. She looked at Alex, eyes wide with fear and confusion. "What power? What does that mean?" But before she could grasp anything more, another explosion rocked the ground, sending a shockwave through her. She fell, gripping Alex, who was shouting for her to hold on. And then it happened. The world around them transformed. A figure, echoing their father's voice, emerged from the smoke. But it wasn't him. "I'm the one you've been looking for." The finality of the revelation hit like a tidal wave. It left Mia breathless, leaving the biggest question hanging in the air. How had the truth been concealed for so long? And what would it mean for them all now? Mia's breath caught in her throat as she stared at the figure emerging from the smoke. The realization slammed into her like a punch. This man, standing tall and imposing, wasn't just anyone. He was her father. Not the one she had known from childhood, but the one wrapped in shadows and secrets, the one whose absence had haunted her. "Mia," he shouted, voice strained yet commanding amidst the chaos. "Dad," her words trembled, disbelief gripping her heart. "But you were gone. I'm here now, and we don't have time." He was frantic, eyes darting as if shadows lurked behind him. The world blurred, and the ringing in her ears muffled the sound of another explosion. She wanted to run to him, to hold him, but fear kept her rooted. "What's happening? Why did you leave?" Tears burned at the corners of her eyes, each question heavier than the last. "Because they were coming for me, for all of you." His voice broke, desperation flickering across his face. In that moment, Alex stepped in front of Mia, building a wall of protectiveness. "We need to leave, right now. They're here." The panic of the crowd roared around them. People stumbled, screams echoing like sirens. But then, a sound cut through the chaos, sharp, piercing. A gunshot rang out. Mia's heart lurched as she saw her mother crumple to the ground. "Mom!" The air thickened with despair, and Mia fell to her knees, hovering over her. "Mia," her mother gasped, blood pooling beneath her. You have to get out of here." But the world squeezed in around them. More motorcycles roared through the smoke, engines roaring like hungry beasts. She looked up, fear clawing at her. In the chaos, her sister Emily was shouting something, but all she could focus on was the urgency in her mother's eyes. And then it hit her, a flash of realization that struck like lightning. "Why were you hidden? What do you know?" Every word stumbled out, desperate, begging for answers. "Mia," her mother's voice was faint, "it's not just about us. They know you are special. They need you, and they'll stop at nothing." Just then, something cold and hard pressed against Mia's back. She froze, instinctively knowing what it was: a gun. The man in the suit loomed behind her. "We've got to go," he hissed, eyes wild and focused. "Let her go," Tyler roared, pushing past bodies, desperate to reach her. "Get away from my sister." The man smirked, tightening his grip. "You don't understand what's at stake." And then, like a thunderclap, a massive figure bolted from behind them. It was Alex's father, his face twisted with anger. "Let her go, or I swear." Before he could finish, the air exploded with a blinding flash. The gunfire erupted so loud, so close, that Mia thought the world might shatter. Chaos reigned. People scattered, and in that split second, confusion turned to panic. "No," Mia screamed, as she fought against the grip on her arm. But the force pulled her back, yanking her away from her family and everything she loved. Suddenly, Tyler lunged forward, knocking the gun from the man's hand. The weapon clattered to the ground. But in that split second of vulnerability, as Mia turned to see her brother, something shocking happened. The man in the suit reached for something inside his jacket, something small and metallic. In a flash, he revealed a remote control, his face splitting into a maniacal grin. "You think you're safe? You have no idea what you're a part of." The realization sank in hard. "What do you mean?" Mia shouted, but the world seemed to shrink around her. Suddenly, the sky lit up, an electric gold burst forming overhead. A massive drone swooped low, its spotlight glaring right at Mia. The crowd gasped, a murmur of fear echoed through the massive bodies, and the man smiled, a chilling smirk that unleashed a wave of dread washing over them. Everything has changed. Then an explosion rocked the earth again. This time it came from above. The drone released something, a flashbang. The area erupted in light, bright and blinding. It was chaos and confusion, a maelstrom of uncertain danger. The last thing Mia saw was her mother's eyes wide with horror as the world erupted in chaos. And in that split second, everything she thought she knew shattered, leaving nothing but questions and fear swirling in a tempest. What awaited her? What secrets lay in the aftermath of this catastrophic twist? As darkness enveloped them, one thought echoed in Mia's mind. Was she truly the key to a danger that loomed far greater than she could comprehend? The blinding flash from the drone sent Mia reeling, confusion clawing at her insides. The world around her became a cacophony of screams and chaos, and she felt the heat of panic rise like a wave, pushing her deeper into despair. She couldn't think straight. All she could remember was her mother bleeding on the ground, the way her heart had stopped. In that moment, and how the shadows seemed to close in around them. Then, like a sudden storm, the light cleared. The world around her shifted, pulled taut with tension that felt like a bowstring ready to snap. Mia blinked, focusing on Alex's terrified face above her. "We need to go," he shouted, eyes darting around like a trapped animal. But all she could see was her mother, crumpled and still, a pool of crimson darkening the pavement. "Mom," she screamed again, lungs burning, desperation flooding her voice. She felt Tyler's grip on her arm tighten. "We have to get away, Mia." But his urgency felt like a distant echo, drowning beneath the roar of everything unraveling around her. Then the unexpected happened. From the dust and noise, a figure limped forward, cloaked in shadows, staggering beneath the weight of something unseen. Mia squinted, dread knotting in her stomach. It wasn't just any figure. This was someone familiar. Someone she thought was gone for good. Mira. It was her older sister, the one she had thought had vanished, swallowed by the same darkness that had haunted their family for years. The dread morphed into disbelief as her sister's face appeared, torn and smudged, stark against the chaos. "You have to wake up. They're after you." "Wake up?" Mia's voice was a whisper, laced with confused fear. But her sister pressed closer, determination raging in her eyes. "Mia, listen, they don't just want you. You're a target because of who you really are." Mia's breath caught. "What do you mean? Who am I?" Confusion wrapped around her like chains. Her sister stumbled back, desperation flickering across her face. "They want to harness your power. You have to run. We can't stay here." Every word sank in, echoing in Mia's mind. In that moment, understanding blasted through. It wasn't just about her family being in danger. It was about her. "I don't understand." But before any answers could emerge, Alex's father stepped from the shadows, his face twisted in anger. You think you can just march back into our lives? You don't know what you're messing with.
The tension snapped like a rubber band. Suddenly a noise, a sickening crack, cut through the air. Without warning, the figure of Mia's sister collapsed, the impact sending shockwaves through the crowd. "Mira!" Mia screamed, scrambling forward, but her sister lay still, the light in her eyes dulled. The air twisted, and in that moment, everything shattered. "No!" Tyler shouted, pulling Mia back as more gunfire erupted. "We have to go. Now." Mia's gaze met her father's, shock flooding through her veins. "You knew? You knew about her?" But the truth, wrapped in shadows, was slipping away. Her heart raced as she felt the air grow thick with unspoken secrets, swirling around them. And then Mira's body convulsed, making everyone freeze in place. She coughed, blood pooling on the ground, and in that moment, she gasped, whispering something that twisted Mia's gut. "It's worse than you think. I'm not just your sister. I'm the one they want. I'm their weapon." The world tilted. The space around Mia felt heavier, too full of dark possibilities. Her heart slammed in her chest as her sister's words twisted everything she thought she understood. "Mira, no." Suddenly, every feeling of safety, every thread of trust, snapped. If her sister was the weapon, what did that mean for Mia? What terrible truth had been hidden from her? As confusion consumed her, a scream erupted from the crowd again, shattering the fragile thread of hope. "Run!" A voice echoed through the smoke. But Mia couldn't move. Everything felt frozen in place, bound by the gravity of her sister's agony, the weight of betrayal looming larger than the chaos surrounding them. And then, without warning, the spotlight shifted. The drone above glared down, illuminating the scene, but the truth was staring back too. A figure emerged amidst the swirling chaos. Her mother, rising like a phoenix, bloodied but alive. "Mia!" she shouted, her voice blazing like fire. "You have to come to me." The world spun on its axis, and Mia stood there, torn between the suffocating darkness and piercing light. Was this the moment everything changed? Or was it just the beginning of a nightmare? And as she reached out, wanting to believe, the ground trembled, a shocking rumble that swept her into uncertainty. In that heartbeat, she pondered, who was she really? And more importantly, what chaos lay ahead in the shadows of her family's secrets? Mia could hardly breathe as she stood there, the cacophony of chaos swirling around her. The sight of her sister crumpled on the ground shattered her heart. Amidst the smoke, her mother's eyes held fear and defiance, fighting against the darkness that threatened to swallow them whole. "Let's go," Alex shouted, pulling her toward safety. But each step felt heavier, laden with the weight of family secrets. She turned back one last time, Mira's blood stained asphalt, and despair clawed at her chest. No, not like this. Tears blurred her vision, but within that turmoil came clarity. She could feel the power rushing in her veins like a storm being unleashed. "You're not taking me," she screamed. The chaos surged again as the figure of her father loomed closer. His face set with urgency. "Mia, they want you. We have to get you away, now." "No," she shot back, defiant. "I won't run anymore. I want the truth." The drone's spotlight swung again, intensifying the shadows around them. The crowd swirled in panic, but at that moment, Mia stood firm, igniting a spark deep within. "Mom," she called, desperation pushing her voice higher. "Help me. Break this." Her mother's voice, though strained, cut through the chaos like a beacon. "Mia, you have the power. Embrace it, together." Mia's hands trembled, fire igniting in her fingertips. She felt Alex at her side, unwavering. She smiled through her tears, their eyes locked in a moment of connection that solidified. "Do you trust me?" "Always," he replied, unwavering. The man in the suit, danger incarnate, drew closer, hand outstretched. "You don't know what you're doing," he roared. But something in Mia flickered with defiance. It was time to unleash the truth. Drawing strength from her family, she lifted her arms, embracing the energy swirling around her. Light enveloped her as she focused on the chaos, directing the Charge like an orchestra conductor.
"Leave us alone," she shouted, and the air crackled with intensity. The blast hit the assailants like a shock wave. Confusion followed. They fell back, eyes wide with terror. Each pulse of energy sent waves of rebellion through the crowd around her. Then, the shadows retreated as the light grew brighter. An overwhelming force pushed back, as if Mia had conjured the very spirit of her family. She could see her mother rising, her sister, all of them united in a powerful surge against the darkness of deceit. The onlookers gasped, disbelief painting their faces. The man in the suit fell back, shocked, struggling with the very reality he tried to shatter. "Mia, we
Have to go," Tyler shouted, breathing heavily, urgency in his voice cutting through the moment. "No, we end this now, together." She turned to her family, nodding fiercely. At that moment, Alex squeezed her shoulder. "You're not alone." The fire in Mia's heart erupted, fueled by love and rage as the drones sputtered and whirred above them, retreating into the sky. A powerful gust of wind echoed through the street, scattering the remaining shadows. "We will find the truth," she yelled, interlocking her fingers with Alex and her siblings. Together, they stepped forward, a united front. As the chaos settled, the street quieted. She could see her mother moving, pain etched in her expression, yet still determined. "This is not the end. It's a new beginning." "Mia," her father said, refusing to let down his wall of protection, "you are stronger than we thought." Tears brimmed in her eyes as she surveyed her family, the siblings she never knew, the mother who fought tooth and nail to be there. "We will figure this out together." They formed a circle, a familial fortress, standing against the world that had tried to keep them apart. Clarity washed over Mia like a refreshing wave. This was her family, the chaos of their story unfolding into something beautiful. "We will tell our story," Mia declared, resolve flooding her voice. "No more hiding." As the dark clouds scattered, leaving room for light, they all knew that together they could face anything. The world may have been chaotic, but one thing was certain: they were family, and together they would fight for the truth. You have to subscribe right now to the channel so you don't miss any of the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Smash that like button right now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comment section with your thoughts and theories about the ending, and instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see how this ends. Don't wait even one more second to share this. Only real fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.